Welcome back to the program. As I mentioned before we went to the break, we are now joined by the Boys and Girls Club of the Emerald Coast to talk about the club and several events they have coming up this spring. And also, it's hard to believe, New Year, but it's also time to think about summer and what your kids are going to do during the summer months. So, joining me to talk about all that is Anthony Lanier with the Boys and Girls Club. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Let's talk about Boys and Girls Club. Of course, I would hope everybody's heard of the Boys and Girls Club, but they might not be as familiar with you guys locally, where your clubs operate, and the type of services you provide here along the Gulf Coast. So, tell us a little bit about that, and again, where you're located and what kind of opportunities you have for area children.
Absolutely. Boys and Girls Clubs of the Emerald Coast, our mission is to enable all young people, especially those that need us the most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. And we do that using our formula for impact, which is the young people that need us the most, plus an outcome-driven club experience, which is regular attendance, higher learning activities, and targeted programs. And that equals our three priority outcomes, which is academic success, character and citizenship, and healthy lifestyles. So we have clubs across the Emerald Coast. We have 9 clubs in our organization that serves Walton County, Escambia County, and Okaloosa County. We have 2 clubs in Walton County, 2 clubs in Escambia County, and 5 clubs in Okaloosa County. So we split it between traditional clubhouses and school-based clubs as well.
Okay. So approximately how many children do y'all service in the Emerald Coast?
So that is a great question, and I'm really excited to share that over the last year in 2022, we actually served and registered over 2,200 young people in our clubs, which is an amazing accomplishment, especially coming off of a couple of years where the numbers were a little lower due to the pandemic. I'm really glad to start getting back to pre-pandemic numbers. So we're doing the best that we can to continue to fill our clubs and make a great impact.
Good. That is great to hear that it's climbing back up again. Yeah, everybody knows the pandemic had an impact on everybody, especially a lot of in-person stuff with schools being out and your after-school care programs, I guess, really weren't needed if they weren't going to school. So you're in the middle of school right now. They just started the second semester or whatever they go by nowadays, quarters, however the schools are changing. It seems like each school district does it differently now, but it's hard to believe, as I mentioned, it's basically the new year, but we're already looking at the summer. So is it already time to start thinking about registering for summer?
It absolutely is. It's time to start thinking about registering for the summer. So we actually set our date for February the 13th that the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Emerald Coast is going to start registering for our summer program. We try to do things fairly early, not only for our clubs, because before the summer starts, all of our clubs and our caring adults that work in our clubs start planning and have activities, programs, field trips, all planned out before the summer even starts. But also for our families, the club families that we serve, it's important to try to make sure that they have time to set up a plan before the summer starts. So we're going to have all of our clubs open from 7:30 to 6, serving kids all day long. The summer program, we tend to spend more time with club kids than their families do at times. So we're excited to get that started, and we're prepped and ready to make another impact and have a great summer just like previous years.
What's the best way for people to register? Come to the club, go to the website. What's the best way to do it?
I always encourage people to come to your local club. That way you can ask for a tour, and then you can see the building and meet the staff and see everything and all the magic happens. So I would absolutely encourage people to come into the clubs where you can ask questions, get all the information needed. You can fill out registration information and then go from there.
Okay. And some great events you guys have coming up as fundraisers for the club. In February, March, y'all are going back to back with these events, but they are definitely some great events. So let's start off with the Shrimp and Grits Festival in February. Tell me about that one.
Sure. We're starting the year off strong. We're going to kick it off with our foodie festivals. So our Shrimp and Grits event that we have, major shout out and thank you to the team over at Brotula's. We've been the beneficiary of this event for a few years now. So February 25th is going to be over at Brotula's, and likewise with our Mac and Cheese Fest, which I'm kind of fast forwarding a little bit. So we have our cook teams, local cook teams, and chefs that come in and they do the best that they can to win the prestigious awards of People's Choice, Judge's Choice, and the most important one of course, our Kids' Choice. So it's great fun, great food, great music, and again, supports a great cause.
Okay, so that's, you said that's February 25th. You
February
teased
25th.
the Mac and Cheese Festival, so tell us about that one when that one's taking
All right,
place.
following it up right the very next weekend, we have our Mac and Cheese Festival. It is our 5th annual Mac and Cheese Festival. So really excited to say that it's been an ongoing event for us, a major event for us. And it's going to be in the Destin Commons. So on March the 5th, again, you're going to be able to come out. Great time, great food, great music, supports a great cause. And the great thing about these events that I try to tell people is whenever it comes to raising money for the Boys and Girls Clubs, a study showed that any dollar given to Boys and Girls Clubs, a study in the state of Florida, every dollar given to the Boys and Girls Clubs had an $8 multiplier, positive multiplier effect on the community. So anytime that you give to a Boys and Girls Club, not only does it affect the kids in the community now, but it's going to have a lasting effect and impact in the future.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. That's a great. That is a great multiplier for sure. So, tickets for these events. So we're almost out of time, but I want to make sure we tell everybody how they can get tickets to these events.
You're gonna, if you want to go to any of our events, you can absolutely go to emeraldcoastbgc.org, emeraldcoastbgc.org, and you'll be able to get all the information not only of the clubs, but then also to get tickets for our events as well.
All right, perfect. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the program today. Really appreciate your time and good luck with these back-to-back events. I know you guys are going to be tired when it's all done.
Sure thing, sure thing. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for tuning in. Join us next month as we take another look across the Gulf Coast.